Hence, the immense importance attached by the Gita in its elements of Karma Yoga to equality. It is the nodus of the free spirit's free relations with the world. Self knowledge, desirelessness, impersonality, bliss, bliss, freedom from the modes of nature, when withdrawn into themselves, self absorbed, inactive, have no need of equality. For they take no cognizance of the things in which the opposition of equality and inequality arises. But the moment the spirit takes cognizance of and deals with the multiplicities, personalities, differences, inequalities of the action of nature, it has to effectuate these other signs of its free status by this one manifesting sign of equality. Knowledge is the consciousness of unity with the One, and in relation with the many different beings and existences of the universe, it must show itself by an equal oneness with all. Impersonality is the one immutable spirit's superiority to the variations of its multiple personality in the world. In its dealings with the personalities of the universe, it must show itself in the equal and impartial spirit of its action with regard to all, however various that action may be, made by the variety of relations into which it is molded or of the conditions under which it has to take place. So Krishna in the Gita says that none is dear to him, none hated, to all he is equal in spirit. Yet is the God lover, the special receiver of his grace, because the relation he has created is different, and the one impartial Lord of all yet meets each soul according to its way of approach to him. Desirelessness is the illimitable spirit's superiority to the limiting attraction of the separate objects of desire in the world. When it has to enter into relations with those objects, it must show it either by an equal and impartial indifference in their position, or by an equal and impartial unattached delight in all and love for all, because it is self existent, does not depend upon possession or non possession, but is in its essence unperturbed and immutable. For the spirit's bliss is in itself, and if this bliss is to enter into relations with things and creatures, it is only in this way that it can manifest its free spirituality. Trigunatitya, transcendence of the gunas, is the unperturbed spirit's superiority to that flux of action of the modes of nature which is in its constant character perturbed and unequal. If it has to enter into relation with the conflicting and unequal activities of nature, if the free soul is to allow its nature any action at all, it must show its superiority by an impartial equality towards all activities, results, or happenings.
So they started describing the equality, and it is 12 pages long. So you can imagine how much he has to say on equality. I'll read each sentence and then we'll see. And remember also the importance that the Gita gives to the sense of samatvam. It will go so far as to say that samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam itself is yoga. If you can do that, 90% of all your things are all done. Okay? So you have to be absolutely impartial to everybody and not be affected by anything. I read each sentence. Hence, the immense importance attached by the Gita in its elements of Karma Yoga to equality. The equality so much does not apply to Jnana Yoga or the Bhakti Yoga, because there the concentration is on only one thing. You're not worried too much about the contact with others. So in the Karma Yoga, it's the most important, because you are dealing with all sorts of things. When you are doing karma, you are coming in contact with the whole world with all its varieties. So you have to have absolutely a condition where you receive everything calmly, quietly, without being affected. So it's a karma yoga. It is the nodus of the free spirit's free relations in the world. So first of all, the spirit is free and its relations in the world are free. They are not determined. Okay? There is no determination. If there is a determination, then you like somebody or you don't like somebody. But there is no determination at all. It's absolutely free. Self-knowledge, desirelessness, impersonality, bliss, freedom from the modes of nature, when withdrawn into themselves, self-absorbed, inactive, have no need of equality. So just see, that's what we said just now, self-knowledge. Okay? You are not concentrating on anything else. So equality does not come there so much. Desirelessness. When you are absolutely desireless, okay, then there is no need of equality because you are receiving everything equally. Impersonality. Impersonality is a very interesting concept also. It goes towards infinity. Desire always comes of finite things. Desire always comes of finite things. So, if you are in an infinite consciousness, impersonal consciousness, then again equality is not necessary. You have already achieved it. Okay? So, self-knowledge, desirelessness, impersonality, bliss, bliss also, because whatever is coming from outside is giving you bliss only. Freedom from the modes of nature. Freedom from the modes of nature, the three gunas. Okay? That's why he used the word Traigunya mind. Okay? Afterwards. Freedom from the modes of nature, when withdrawn into themselves. Okay? Freedom from the modes of when withdrawn into themselves. That means to say, guna guneshu vartante. That's a sentence used in the Gita. The modes of nature are limited only to the body, mind, life, and not the soul. That's what is meant by self-absorbed, okay, and withdrawn into themselves. They are not affecting the soul. At our level, they are all affecting the spirit, the soul, and the soul gets attracted and disgusted with things. Self-absorbed, inactive, have no need of equality, for they take no cognizance of the things in which the opposition of equality and inequality arises. It arises only in multiplicity. When there is multiplicity and finite things, you like some things and you don't like some things. But when you are in an impersonal condition and an infinite condition, then the finite things don't apply to you at all. Therefore, desire disappears. But the moment the spirit takes cognizance of and deals with the multiplicities, there you are. Okay? So multiplicity means you are in a finite condition. Personalities, differences, inequalities of the action of nature, it has to effectuate these other signs of its three status by this one manifesting sign of equality. So equality has to become absolutely clear if you are in the physical world, meeting all the finite forms in the physical world. But when your consciousness is not in the physical world and it has gone to the spiritual worlds, you are above the three gunas and you are absolutely automatically equal to everything. Knowledge is the consciousness of unity in the one. Now that's an interesting definition. What is vidya and avidya? Avidya, when you are in ignorance, when you see the multiplicities, okay, and you don't see the unity. In the knowledge, you see the multiplicity, but behind the multiplicity, you see the unity, which is much more important. Again, there is a gradation there, and knowledge, you can say, is when you see the unity of things, and maybe 75-80%, and 20% you are seeing the finiteness, you are seeing the forms, you are seeing the multiplicities, but they are not so important as the unity. See, even at our level, we can mentally understand unity, okay? Mentally understand, but not see it spiritually. We can understand mentally very easily when you think of all these species, okay? You see all the cats, you see the unity of the nature of cat, okay? You can call it catness. if you want. So mentally it is possible to see unity, but you are not seeing it in a spiritual way. You are seeing it mentally. That's not enough. Okay? So when you go there to the other level, the spiritual level, you start seeing the unity much more than the multiplicity. Note interestingly that knowledge, when it sees unity, it has to see also multiplicity a little bit. Because if it does not see multiplicity, what will happen? Suppose I am in the physical world and I am speaking to um, 10 children who are attending my class. Okay? If I don't see multiplicity, I will not be able to distinguish between A, B, C. So it will be practically it will be impossible. So you have to see multiplicity also, but not be affected by that. 90% you are seeing unity and you are seeing the multiplicity also, but there is no importance. Okay, there is an important distinction you have to remember. Equality does not mean that you are seeing everybody in an equal way. The good man and the bad man and the criminal and the sage, you are seeing them all. No. You are not affected by them. Okay? That is the meaning of equality. You see difference, you see colors, you see gradations, but you are not affected by them. Knowledge is the consciousness of unity with the one. And in relation with the many different beings and existences in the universe, it must show itself. It must show itself by an equal oneness with all. So, impersonality is the one immutable spirit's superiority to the variations of its multiple personality in the world. So, impersonality means you are in a consciousness where you see only the main principles. You see peace. You don't see peaceful people. You see the peace behind everything. You see the Shakti behind everything. You see the principles, the infinite principles. You see goodness behind everyone. That is what is meant by impersonality. Okay? You don't see the effects of personality. You don't see that. Impersonality is the one immutable spirit's superiority to the variation of its multiple personality in the world. In its dealings with the personalities of the universe, it must show itself in the equal and impartial spirit of its action with regard to all, however various that action may be, made by the variety of relations into which it is molded or of the conditions under which it has to take place. Now, what we are going to read next is very interesting, but I'll just tell you something very interesting here. Okay, what equality? It is very subtle. It's not very easy to understand. Take the case of a mother. Okay, she has got 5 children. One is blind, one is lame. Okay, and the others are all quite normal. Now, does it mean to say that when she is giving more attention to the blind and the lame, is it that she is unequal? No. It's very, very possible for her to be equal to everybody, but she is giving more attention to the blind and the lame because they need it. So, but you are not being affected by it. So, this you have to understand equality in that sense. Equality, you are not affected by anything, completely above. And that's exactly what Srila will tell you, because Sri Krishna says that I dislike nobody and I also like nobody. But those who are inclined towards me, I like them, he's saying. So does that mean that there is no equality in the divine? That we will discuss when we come to that passage. It's coming. We'll discuss that. It's very interesting. Okay. So the next sentence. So Krishna in the Gita says that none is dear to him, none hated, to all he is equal in spirit. Yet is a God lover, the special receiver of his grace, because the relation he has created is different from the one impartial Lord of all, yet meets each soul according to its way of approach to him. So what does this mean? So, let us say the Sri Krishna is pouring out his love equally on everybody. Okay? But the one who is opening more to that, okay, he receives more. That's what it meant. It's not that he is giving him more love, but the divine is giving 100% of his love, and those who receive more automatically are closer to him. That's what it means. How much you have opened your doors to him. So it is the onus of this is on the receiver and not the giver. So the divine is giving equally to all, but you receive in a different way. It's a way of speaking that the God lover is special receiver of his grace. It's a way of speaking. But you are receiving grace because you are open to it. Okay? So that's what it means. I go to the next sentence. Desirelessness is the illimitable spirit's superiority to the limiting attraction of the separate objects of desire in the world. Now look at this sentence very carefully. Desirelessness is the illimitable spirit's superiority to the limiting attraction of separate objects. The separate objects are all finite objects. Desire can come only for finite objects. Okay? When you desire the infinite, all the other things disappear. And there's only one. So there's no question of attraction or repulsion. It's absolutely equal. So desirelessness, impersonality, and infinity, these are all conditions of absolute equality. They come automatically. When it has to enter into relations with those objects, it must show it either by an equal or impartial indifference. Okay? Either you like everything equally or you don't like anybody equally. Okay? So, this has got a very interesting aphorism. Okay. He says, either you love all women or you love nobody. Okay, so there is no personal love or something. This is not there. Now see that aphorism in this context. Okay, he says it must show it either by an equal, loving everybody, or impartial indifference, loving nobody. It's a way of speaking. Okay, so this is what in both ways written, the impartiality and the equality are shown in their possession or by an equal and impartial, unattached delight in all. So, loving all, that's what he's saying. And love for all, which, because it is self-evident, self-existent, does not depend upon possession or non-possession. You possess everything or you don't possess anything. Okay. But is in its essence unperturbed and immutable. It's a very interesting discussion, but you can see there are so many subtle vibrations, and you have to see all the vibrations below that. For the spirit's bliss is in itself. Now, this is something which always I'm using this sentence, in itself. That means not affected by anything else. He says the divine in itself, that means it is not coming out and not affected by anything. It is a transcendent in itself. Now, here he is saying, but is in itself, in its essence, unperturbed and immutable. For the spirit's bliss is in itself. That means not when it is coming out, but in itself. And if this bliss is to enter into relations with things and creatures, it's only in this way that it can manifest its free spirituality. Traigunyatitya, Traiguna Atitya. Listen, Gunatitya is a noun. I thought it should be Traigunyatitya, but anyway, Traigunaatitya. Transcendence of the gunas. When you go to the self, you have transcended the gunas. You are not identified with your body, mind, life. Is the unperturbed spirit's superiority to that flux of action of the modes of nature. Modes of nature, sattva, rajas, tamas, or if you want, body, mind, life, which is in constant character which is in its constant character, perturbed and unequal. Okay? Constantly, the mind and the vital and the body are fighting with each other. There's no harmony at all. If it has to enter into relations with the conflicting and unequal activities of nature, if the free soul is to allow its nature any action at all, it must show its superiority by impartial equality towards all activities. That's also that means. So, if you want to do karma yoga in the physical world in the divine way, equality and impersonality and desirelessness are absolutely indispensable. That's what he said. So,
Ranganath,
yes, tell me.
one question.
Yeah.
If you have, I don't know, have discovered the self or you're one with the self, then
Yes.
equality comes automatically, no?
Yes, to a large extent. Correct. That's exactly what happened because you have lost you have become Trigunatita. You have gone beyond your body mind life. Okay? So then you become equal. And that is the reason why nothing affects you. That is the experience of nirvana. That's the experience of the self, the Brahman consciousness, or the
But
Atman.
then, but then when you're working, like you're doing karma yoga, then
Ah.
it doesn't translate into the workings.
Not in the beginning. In the beginning. Then slowly you have to do that. But if you're doing karma yoga, probably even from the beginning it is there. Maybe. Okay? But for Sridham, though, it was not there. You see, he had difficulty in translating that peace into his actions. He says that very clearly in a letter. He says he had difficulty in Baroda when he had the nirvana experience, complete detachment from body mind life. But in the beginning, you have to come back into your body mind life because you don't get a realization immediately. You get an experience. And when the experience was there, then he was drawn back into the body mind life. Of course, he is already at the divine level, but he had difficulty in pulling that equality and uh, detachment in the physical world. The old habits were still continuing for some time. Okay? So that's why that's what you're saying is quite right. So, but then you don't remain there right from the beginning. The experience has to go on repeating itself until it stabilizes there. And this is true of everything. Okay, when you have a psychic experience, it comes for a short while, and that short while may be even some seconds, or it may be even 6 months, but slowly it disappears. And when it disappears, you have to try to get it back again. It can recur. And the recurrence will go on, go on, go on until finally you cannot fall below the standard. Then you have realized it. Okay? So the same principle applies at all the levels. Okay? And that is the reason why. Yes, tell me. Yes.
This Nirbana and Nirguna are the same. Nirguna Brahman.
Yes.
Saguna,
Yes. Yes.
same.
Yes. Nirguna means that's right.
Above the Sattva Rajas Tama three gunas.
Yes. Nirguna means you are beyond the gunas. That's right.
And that is above the overmind. That is
No,
above the.
No, not over the overmind. It is just over the normal mind. It's in the level 2 of the spiritual planes of consciousness. You can get it even in the higher mind. The higher mind, the elevated mind, the intuitive mind, and the overmind are in the second level. These 4 planes in the scheme of things. These 4 planes are the level 2. So it don't need to go back up to the overmind at all. Do you mean to say that in Baroda when Srimdo had the experience of nirvana, he had reached the overmind? No. He reached the overmind only in 1926. So,
Rangata, nirvana is not self-realization. No, it is just quietening of the mind.
It is self-realization in this sense that you realize that you are the self and not the body-mind life. Nirvana is self-realization.
It is not just quietening of the mind?
No. Quietening of the mind is the process. When you quieten the mind, that's a process and it takes you to the self. And then you realize that you are the self and not the body-mind life. So it's a self-realization. In fact, most of the yogas are very satisfied with that. It is certain. These are all different words and different ways of looking at things. Nirguna, nirvana, okay? The self, the Atman, the Brahman consciousness. Basically, it's the same thing. Your soul escapes from the body mind life and is stationed in the second level. And that second level can be anywhere. It can even be the lowest, higher mind. It can be even element mind. It can be even the intuitive mind and the overmind. Overmind is very rare. That comes only later. But you can get experiences. But to stabilize it, it took up 1926, he was able to stabilize it. Okay? So he came to Pondicherry. Yeah, tell me.
In one letter, Sri Aurobindo wrote Nirguna and Saguna. In that context, the first line I am just reading, in a realistic Advaita, there is no need to regard the Saguna as a creation from the Nirguna or even secondary or subordinate to it. Both are equal aspects of the one reality, its position of silent status and rest, and its position of action and dynamic force, a silence or eternal rest and peace, supports an eternal action and movement. So what I have to ask that just you have told that this nirguna is that is the experiencing the self, that is in the entire from the higher mind till the over mind, it may be experienced the status of nirguna or the nirbana, what Sri Aurobindo has experienced in Borodap. So what is this saguna? What is this saguna?
Okay. This saguna consciousness, when you have come down into your body-mind life, you are not dissociated with the body-mind life anymore, but you are still in a divine consciousness. That is the saguna. That means to say, all the multiplicities that you see in the physical world, you are seeing the divine behind them. Saguna. All the multiplicity that you are seeing in the physical world is not affecting you, and you are seeing the divine behind everything. This is a very high level of consciousness, and the absolute saguna can come only at a very high level of spiritual. So you can have a glimpse of the saguna. There is no doubt about
it. What Buddha was doing, Dada? What Buddha was doing?
Buddha? No saguna at all. Only nirguna.
Only nirguna?
Yes. You're forgetting that he is rejecting the physical world. If he is rejecting the physical world, where is the gunas? They are all in the physical world.
But he is helping out people to achieve nirvana.
That was in the beginning. Okay. That's why afterwards he was working in the physical world. There's no doubt about it. But the nirvana concept is remaining up there. I'm not saying that Buddha did not achieve the saguna. I'm not saying that. But when you speak of the nirvana, that is the explanation that you are not identified with the body-mind life. It is very, very possible, not only possible, but almost certain that Buddha was in the physical world doing, and he was seeing this saguna everywhere. But the consciousness is absolutely stable. Absolutely stable. That is the reason why Buddha did not want to discuss philosophy. He was absolutely against discussing philosophy. He said, you will not understand, you will be confused. Okay? In fact, Sri Aurobindo in the Life Divine mentions that. He said that Buddha took the vow never to enter into nirvana fully unless everybody in the physical world was liberated into nirvana. Into nirvana. So that's only a concept, it's not a reality. But it's very possible that was and still in a nirguna. That's very possible.
Does that?
Yes, go ahead. Yasmin, you're saying something?
Yes. Does that mean that when Sri Aurobindo was in the jail and he saw Krishna in the jailer, in the criminals, in everybody, in Justice Beechcroft, so he was in Saguna at that time?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Because he's seeing the divine presence everywhere. In the tree that was giving him shade, he's seeing Sri Aurobindo. In the bars of the prison, okay, he's seeing Sri Krishna. Everywhere he's seeing Sri Krishna. That's a Saguna aspect. No doubt about it. Okay, yeah, that's it. The Saguna is seeing the divine behind all the multiplicity. That's the infinite gunas. What are the gunas? The finites. And the nirguna is the infinite. You are only in one consciousness which is featureless, absolutely without any features. So that's a nirguna. And the saguna is yeah, tell me.
Is it the same as comprehending cosmic consciousness?
Uh, Probably the cosmic consciousness, yes. You are likely to be in the saguna consciousness, yes. Because you are seeing the divine everywhere. You are seeing the whole universe within you, and you are seeing yourself behind everybody. And yourself means yourself. So that is again, same thing. You're quite right. The cosmic consciousness is, you could compare it to the Saguna consciousness. You're not,
Merci.
yeah, you're not outside the physical world. You are in the physical world, seeing everything in the cosmic consciousness. That's the reason why, again, you come back to that famous three choices in the life divine. When you make your mind silent and go to the second level, the spiritual levels of consciousness, Sri Aurobindo says three things are possible. One, you normally see the physical world as unreal and you reject it. That's a nirguna and a nirvana experience. Okay? But you can also experience the cosmic consciousness. In that case, you embrace the universe. You don't reject it. And that's a saguna, no doubt about it. Or if you are like in Sri Aurobindo, you are seeing the physical world as unreal, you don't jump to conclusions, you just wait patiently to see whether that is the ultimate experience or not. And he saw that it's not the ultimate experience. Later on, he found after some time that his emptiness, the nirvana, the emptiness, so-called emptiness, by the way, emptiness because there are no features at all. If something doesn't have features, then you can say it is empty. So that emptiness started filling up with knowledge, with power, okay, with consciousness, with ananda, it started filling up. So he knew that this experience of nirguna, this nirvana experience, is not the final one. It's only the middle part, it's the middle. But it is so wonderful, so peaceful, so wonderful, so free, that many people take it as more than enough for me. I don't want anything more. Okay. I remember one very interesting thing. Somebody was trying to sell their property in Calcutta. Okay? And the offer for that property was at that time 2 lakhs. Okay? But the person who was dealing with this said, don't be in a hurry. Okay? You will get much more than that. You will get even 10, 20 lakhs. So don't be in a hurry, do that. But the person concerned said, no, 2 lakhs is more than enough for me at this level. So that's exactly what happens in the spiritual field also. Those who experience the peace and the freedom, they more than enough for them. They don't want anything else. It's exactly the same thing. Okay? So now we are not.
Ranganath,
Yes, tell me.
so all these experiences are of the second level? Saguna,
Yes.
Nirguna, Nirvana.
Yes, absolutely. But this Saguna can even go even higher up. Because when you go to Supermind, there is no doubt that you are in a Saguna consciousness. Yeah, but mostly what you're saying is right, all second level. Yeah, that's true. They're all usually in the Saguna in the beginning. But the Saguna and Nirguna together is at the supramental level, the third level. And that levels of what I'm talking about is
At,
very clear.
the, at,
Tell me.
yes, Yeah. What I'm saying is, at the third level, these two experiences become one: the saguna and the nirguna, or the
They are all,
comprehending and the apprehending.
yes,
Yeah, they become. I mean, you can experience both at the same time, but
that's
at
right.
the second level, they are different. That's what I was asking.
Exactly. Absolutely correct. And that was the problem for Srirando. That's why even when he achieved the overmind level, he saw that Purusha and Prakriti are both real, not unreal, but they are
No.
separate. So he knew that there is another consciousness which is higher up. And that's the reason why he withdrew from the from activity in the physical world. He put mother in charge and he withdrew to concentrate more and reaches overmind. You are right, absolutely. Up to the overmind level, you are in ignorance. You are seeing the multiplicity. Remember, we just now described Vidya as seeing the oneness, okay? And see ignorance, seeing only the multiplicity without the oneness.
Multiple, not the
So,
oneness. Yes.
yeah, so below our mind, you are in ignorance. You are seeing the differences.
Multiplicity.
Yeah,
The differences.
yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
What is the time? 36. We have got 4 minutes. And the next one is a very small para. So we can read that. But we have not yet finished. Huh? So I'll take up from that Traigunya. Okay. Traigunathitya, transcendence of the gunas, is the unperturbed spirit's superiority to that flux of action of the modes of nature, which is in its constant character perturbed and unequal. I think we read up to that point. If it has to enter, if it has to enter into relations with the conflicting and unequal activities of nature, if the free soul is to allow its nature any action at all, there you are. Because normally in the nirguna and the self, Brahman consciousness, you are not acting. The soul is absolutely inactive, immutable. So if you want to do, then you have to come down and become saguna also. And that's very difficult. It's not easy. If the free soul is to allow its nature any action at all, it must show its superiority by an impartial equality towards all activities, results, or happenings. Okay. So let's read the next one. Who will read? Anyone? It's a very small para. We can finish it today. Equality is a sign. So Shima has not read for a long time. Can you read? Do you have the text with you?
Yes, Dada.
Okay, read the para. Equality is a sign.
Equality is the sign and also for the aspirant the taste. Where there is inequality in the soul, there is in evidence some unequal play of the modes of nature, motion of desire, play of personal will, feeling and action, activity of joy and grief, or that disturbed and disturbing delight, which is not true spiritual bliss, but a mental satisfaction bringing in its train inevitably a counterpart or recoil of mental dissatisfaction. Where there is inequality of soul, there is deviation from knowledge, loss of steadfast abiding in the all embracing and all reconciling oneness of the Brahman and unity of things. By his equality, the Karma Yogin knows in the midst of his action that he is free.
Okay, very small para, and it is very clear what he's saying. And also, I note some very interesting thing. Again, he is repeating two words. Huh? There is deviation. Okay, so you can see that here, there is. This is his style, unique style. He employs that very frequently. It's not that he does not do it. It's not by chance it happens. It is something he does purposely. So I'm reading quickly. We'll have to finish. We got equality is a sign, and also for the aspirant, the test. The test of what? Whether you have been able to get the self. Where there is inequality in the soul, there is in evidence some unequal play of the modes of nature, motion of desire, play of personal will, feeling, and action, activity of joy and grief, or that disturbing delight. Now note that, disturbing delight. Somebody is so fond of oxymorons. Normally, delight should give you pleasure and satisfaction. But he's saying disturbing delight. Why? Because delight and unhappiness are the same thing. They are at the same level. Both are vibrations. The real delight is vibrationless. There is no vibration at all. Absolute static condition. Okay? So disturbing delight, which is not true spiritual bliss, but a mental satisfaction, bringing in its train inevitably a counterpart or recoil of mental dissatisfaction. If you have that, there will be dissatisfaction. The word train is very interesting. It means a trail left behind. Okay, like a ship when it is going, behind the ship you will see the disturbed water. Okay, that's a train. Usually use the word trail, but certainly use the word train. Okay, where there is inequality of soul, there is deviation from knowledge. 2 times he is using this technique. There. Okay, there is deviation from knowledge. Knowledge, as you defined just now, is seeing the oneness of things. You may see the multiplicity also you may see, but you are seeing the oneness more than the multiplicity. Loss of steadfast, abiding living in the all-embracing and all-reconciling oneness of Brahman and unity of things. By his equality, the Karma Yogi knows in the midst of his action that he is free. Now, sometimes, very often, we have a practical problem. We feel that I think I am desireless. Okay? But to test yourself, that which you like, okay, don't take it and see whether there is any disturbance in you. If there is disturbance, then the desire is not gone. Because you may fool yourself thinking, no, I have got rid of my desire for rasgullas anymore. So I don't care. Even if I eat, it doesn't matter. But restrain yourself, don't eat and see whether there is a longing for it. And if the longing is there, you know that your desire is not gone. Okay? That's a test. That's why Shem is saying, test. Okay? That is the beginning, first sentence. And for the aspirant, that test. So you have to often test yourself in this way. Okay? So we stop reading here today because I have gone already 3 minutes beyond the time. Next time we'll take up it is a spiritual nature. Okay, I'll make a note. Anyway. So au revoir everybody.
Au revoir.
Thank
Bonne
you.
journée. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Dada.
Thank you.